to Music of the Month review. This is all the music that I listened to in the month of May 2020, and what can I say about this month? Well, it was a month of a lot of stuff I was looking forward to being pushed back to, like this month of June or, next month of July. And there was also, but it's not all bad because the new Weezer album got pushed back to next year, so really happy about that. But all in all, the music for May was kind of okay. I think it would have been better if we actually had more music to listen to, but that doesn't mean there wasn't anything good. There was good stuff, and as always, it's up to me to break it down, grade it, and tell you what I thought of what album. So let's start that now. So first off, we're off to a good start with Alestorm, The Curse of the Crystal Coconut. Now, this is my first full Alestorm album. I've heard a lot of their songs on their own, but never a full album. And, yeah, this is about what you would expect from Alestorm, and you would expect this kind of thing to get boring from them, considering it is pretty much all that they do, but it's just so fun and silly and badass in its own way, and it gets an A-, this one does. I absolutely love this. There is a few structuring issues, but the band are they're just really, really good at what they do. They know what they do, they know what they're capable of, and the production on it is obviously top notch as well. So yeah, I think A- is pretty fair. Really, really enjoyed this one. Next is Boston Manor with Glow. Now, my history of Boston Manor is a bit weird. I heard about their debut, I didn't listen to it, it's the only one of theirs I haven't listened to. I listened to Welcome to the Neighborhood, I wasn't super keen on it, but I don't know what it is, but everything changed around for me with Glue, because I expected like every other British pop punk band out of this, and I'm really glad that's not what I got. This album is just so majestically well put together, great lyrical content, really great structuring. I know a lot of people would put off by the voice effects, but I loved them, and the album gets an A+. I definitely think it's best of the year worthy, top 10 worthy, maybe. I've listened to this a few times. I just really, really enjoyed this album. I thought it was really, really great. Definitely the next level that they needed to take, especially after Welcome to the Neighborhood was a bit spotty for me personally. I still liked it, but not like on the level that I'll Glue, But yeah, that's just sort of where I stand with it. Next is Caligula's Horse with Rise Radiant. Caligula's Horse are a sort of prog metal thing. This is their fifth album, actually. I think fourth or fifth. But it's the first one where they're starting to get some exposure because, I saw their adverts playing on YouTube videos and stuff for the music I listen to. And it gets a B+. I thought this was really strong starting point for me to start listening to the band. I feel like it could have done with a couple more songs, maybe a couple sort of shaved in half, because prog can just have really long breaks for no reason. But even though this is their fourth or fifth album, but I'm presuming this is the style they've always done. I haven't listened to them a lot before this album, but still really good. B+, produced solidly. The lead singer is amazing. He does a great job, absolutely. So yeah, I think B+. Next up, we have a debut, Dogleg with Melee. This one came out in March. This is, as I mentioned, it's a debut. It's a very, sort of emo, pop-punky sort of thing. This new style where it's, a bit more growly and gritty. And it's sort of the thing that's been rising to prominence since 2019. And I'm really glad to see that style is still going, because this album is great, A-. Really strong debut. I thought, once again, maybe could have used an extra song or two, but just really solid stuff. Really interesting structuring as well. There is sort of mathcore-ish and more emo and hardcore stuff thrown in. It's just very honest. It feels like that style of emo hardcore punk thing. Emo hardcore pop punk. Let's just call it that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Probably gonna wind up listening to it again. Absolute. I think A-, fair grade. And for the next album, before I carry on, I might have forgotten to mention that Dogleg's Melee came out in March. This next album came out technically in January. It's End of Days, D-A-Z-E, with The Burning Chapter, their debut as well. I say sort of because there are some sources that say it came out around about Christmas Eve last year, but more sources say it came out at the start of January, so that's the loophole I'm using. And it gets an A+. Really solid metalcore, really great symphonic elements. Love the guitar work, the instrumentation in general, the performances, the lyrics are really good. The production, I think I said that earlier, the structuring is just really put together well. I just super duper enjoyed this album. I thought it was really, really, really good. And, in I like a time when metalcore, as we're probably going to find out a bit later on, is just getting a bit more and more commercialized to hell. It's nice to hear something a bit more honest, so good stuff. A plus, absolute A plus. Next is a new band made up of older musicians, Fake Names, with their self-titled debut. This band consists of, I think, members from Rancid and the lead vocalist of Refused as well, who does lead vocals for this. It's more of a like classical punk rocky alternative rock sort of thing for them, and you know what? Not bad. I mean, it's about what you would expect from the genre. It gets a B from me, by the way. It feels like fairly standard stuff, but it's really well done standard stuff. You know, like there are some catchy hooks here. You know, there's some good production there. Really good guitar moments. It does have a bit of a tendency to repeat itself, but you know what? I think it's a pretty good start for like a project like this, especially considering who's involved in it. I have a lot of faith in what they could do for the future. Next is another band that is not debuting, a band that's been around for a while, Havok, spelled Havok, with their fifth album, V, or 5. Because, you know, sometimes the band likes to get lazy. But in terms of that, at least, the album itself gets an A-. Now, it would get an A and an A+, or an A+, but the thing that sets it back for me is the lyrics sound a bit like... Okay, you know that song Political Bum by Psycho Stick? You know the main homeless character they talk about in that and make fun of? Some of the lyrics feel like they're being said by that guy, like, oh, technology is evil, and we should be careful with it. It feels like the band had just watched a shit ton of Black Mirror before recording this album, but everything else around it, like, it's put together well. Great, you know, I was going to say great lyrics, the lyrics are a bit weird, but still good. Really amazing guitar work, oh my god. Love the cover for this album too. I think an A- is a fairly fair grade for something of this caliber, and I really look forward to going back over these guys' work. I was impressed by this. Next is Higher Power with 27 Miles Underwater. This came out in January, and these are like a sort of new hardcore thing. I think they're British as well. I think they're part of this new wave of British or American hardcore. I forget where they're from. I'm gonna look it up really quickly, actually. Thank you for bearing with me. Yeah, I was right, they are English. Yay. But yeah, 27 Miles Underwater, even though the cover looks a bit weird, the album is actually really great. I'll give it an A. I thought there was just like a lot of really good songs. A lot of it was quite catchy, despite it being a hardcore leaning album. It was a very like, it had that like pop sensibility of just being surprisingly catchy as well. Not the pop sensibility in terms of the production. Like, production is super raw. It's a very experimental album. It does its job super duper well. It gets a, you know, obviously gets a higher grade than the Fake Names album because it's just a lot better. It is near enough an A+, but I'm giving it an A because, you know, it's not good enough for A+, no. Because, once again, I really enjoyed it, had a lot of fun listening to it, would listen again, should listen again, I'm going to listen again soon. Next is Lorna Shore with Immortal. This one also came out in January. This is a deathcore band. I think this is their third album, second or third. They haven't been around long. And this was recorded with the singer they had at the time, but he left after the album was recorded, and like with a B-. It's a pretty standard deathcore stuff. It does have some bright spots, like I wish they used more of the symphonic elements that were present. It feels a bit too basic at times, but there is some really good stuff to be had, and if you just want that typical deathcore heaviness, then you know you could do a lot worse than this. Honestly, there are some pretty good moments in it. I do like the performance as well, but once again, it feels like every other deathcore album that has a tendency to just like double bass drum, fast guitar shredding everywhere. Like, you know, I don't like the sense of pacing that deathcore has a tendency to have, and I get that that's its thing, but it's always the main problem I've had with the genre, and Lorna Shore just like perpetuating that, and I don't really like it. But you know, B-. is not the worst grade in the world. Actually, I like this album. I didn't love it, but you know, I liked it. Next is Paradise Lost with Obsidian. These are more of a doomy, deathy, metal-y thing with bits of black metal as well. Like if you just like that slow, drony style, like your Yob, like your fuck, that was a band last year, Candlemass. You know, if you like that style, this is definitely in your ballpark. I give it a B. I really enjoy this one. Like, slow, but a really good slow burn. You know, like it gets better as it goes along. I just wish it was like really, really great all the way through. It's not like it's terrible in any places, and there are some really good moments, but like, typical lyrics, but they fit with the genre. Once again, it's a very good genre album for this type, and Paradise Lost have been around for quite a while, I believe, so, this is just really good stuff from them, and if you can find out, it's definitely worth a listen. Next is Pile of Priests with their self-titled second album. These are also a deathy band, not so doomy, more deathy and black metal-ish, and sort of more in the vein of Havoc in a way. There are some bits of thrash as well. Like, I forgot to say that Havoc was that kind of band. It gets a B+. I thought this was extremely entertaining, really solid. It had a really great core concept, and it features a singer from a band who I'll also get to in a couple of entries later on in this video. But, yeah. Just really, really solid stuff. I like the core concept to it. I just wish more of it was easy to understand and that we got a couple more songs as well. But what we get, really, really good stuff. Really solid, really enjoyable. B+, I think, is the fair grade. Next is R.A.P. or Rap Ferreira with Purple Moonlight Pages. This is his first album under this name. He's had a couple of other names before. I think his most notable name before this was Milo. This is technically his 6th album overall, but it's his debut as Rap Ferreira, or Ferreira. Came out in March, and gets a B+. I thought this is just like really solid, sort of that jazzy-ish style of rap and hip-hop. So, sort of like what Childish Gambino did with whatever that album was called. So, I think it was like 1503, 2020, something like that. But yeah, if you like that vein of hip-hop, like that just really classic vein, then you'll enjoy it. This absolutely would have gotten an A+, if like half the songs were shaved off, because there's a bit too many. And the production's really solid. Like R.A.P. or Rap, however you want to pronounce his name, he does a really good central job. There's really good stories to be told. Yeah, just really solid, enjoyable stuff. Definitely worth seeking out if you're into that type of music, which I am. So yeah, well, I am now. I'm getting less white as the days go by. Next is Raven's Cry with 100. These are a band I found like scouring around, and I remember like the weekend it came out like was also a weekend I was looking forward to another album coming out, and it just didn't. I was like, okay, that's fine, I'll listen to this one. It was close to getting a D or D+ grade, but I'm giving it a C-, because I think this is their second album. It's still early for them. They self-released it, and it's not great. It's not structured well. It's produced horribly. Like, you can barely hear the instruments over the lead singer. And while the lead singer, she is good. She's really good. She probably gives him the best performance. I think she's the person that saves this album from being a lot worse. And also the fact that the band like self-did it all on their own. I feel like they need to take time off and actually learn how to produce something and like mix and stuff, because it sounds really bad. But it doesn't get a D grade because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's still very early in their career. Okay, if this were like a band that's been around for like 10, 15 years, which these guys haven't, I would find it less than excusable, But I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, and there is potential. I really, really hope that they tap into it by the next album, because they really need to. But yeah, C-. I can't really give this anything higher. Next is Seven Spires with Emerald Seas. Hey, this is the band I was sort of alluding to earlier when talking about the new Poly Priest album. So, the singer on that album, Adrienne Cowan, turns out she has her own band. And they're called Seven Spires, and they're actually really solid. I thought this was a really good effort from them. I think this is their third or second album, so once again, Seven Spires are not a band that have been around long. And also the lead singer, Adrienne Cowan, I said her name earlier, she's like 3 years younger than me, and she's way more talented than I'll ever be, and I'm going to try and not get depressed about that, but I can't promise anything. But yeah, this was just really enjoyable. Once again, had a really good core concept. Drags on quite a bit. It's not produced completely perfectly, but at least it's produced a lot better than the new Raven's Cry album. Don't tell anyone I said that. Yeah, I thought this was just really entertaining, really enjoyable, really good like symphonic stuff. I wanted more heaviness from this personally, because Adrienne Cowan, she can scream really well. Like, she did that fantastically on her 2 guest spots on the Polar Priest album. I was expecting more of that here, and I didn't get it, but I wasn't disappointed. It was very good to hear her flex her vocal muscles with just singing, and she can sing really well. The band played really well, really great guitar work, really nice bits of prog in there every now and then as well. Yeah, I thought this was pretty consistent, pretty good. Next is a band called Shiner with Schadenfreude. These are like, I keep forgetting to bring up the genres. Raven's Cry is like a sort of metal thing, I think. Seven Spies is more of a, also symphonic rock metal thing. Shiner is a bit weird, they're a bit shoegazy. And the thing is, I forgot to mention that Emerald Seas came out in February. Okay, back to it. The thing is about Schadenfreude is I've seen reviews of it that say it was like this really good like auteur thing. I just listened to it and thought it was really fucking weird. It's not bad. Its overall grade is a C+, if you must know. Like, what? What? Like, these are a band that are returning after a long time, I think, or something like that. I don't remember if it's these or another band that was pushed back to June. And I can't be asked to look it up, but there's good bits, but why is this getting so much acclaim for everyone else? The lyrics are just really dumb. The structuring is a bit off. It's produced really well, you know, and the band do perform well. But what? What was this? Sorry? I forgot I listened to this. I was like, there must be something I liked about it, otherwise I wouldn't have given it a C+, but like, what? That was basically the mindset I had listening to this album. I was like, the fuck? What you on about, mate? Yeah, C+, I think, is the first grade I can give it, and that wasn't a great review, but it's probably more incoherent than what you would get if you actually listened to the album. Next is another debut, a band called Thick, with their album 5 Years Behind. This one came out in March. This is a really good example of that, like, feminist punk-style girl-ish sort of stuff. And I give it a B. I thought this was really solid. I feel like I would have given it a higher grade if it didn't feel completely emasculating. I know, fragile male ego, I do have it, but I'm also very sick of seeing, you know, like feminists, feminists, the faux ones, like basically saying the same shit that every other fake feminist says, you know, because there is positive feminism, and you're not going to hear a lot of it on this album, but you're going to hear plenty, which is why it gets a B, and not like a C grade or an A grade. I think like a B is a pretty good, you know, it's a really good album, it's a really good debut. It's not put together badly, it's got really good attitude to it, it's got, you know, it's got some good lyrics if you can get past the "we hate white men" stuff, even though they're all white girls, so that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's got really good production to it. Good, yeah, and once again, debut. It can be a bit rough around the edges at times, but pretty solid, consistent, entertaining. All you need from this kind of genre, or from this kind of style of that genre as well. And lastly, we have Thomas Benjamin Wild Esquire with A Quiet Night In. Now, this is a comedy album. For those who might have heard the name, you might have heard his song, I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have run out to dry. I've gone to go fuck shopping, but there's no fucks left to buy. It's him. And this is his second album, so I'm catching him early. And B+, I was supremely entertained by this. I thought it was hilarious. Really great lyrics, really good like satire as well of like the social stuff we deal with every day. As someone who is on like social media like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, on all three, I do see these kind of poisonous people they often point out, you know. And as someone who's been out, like, not to specific bars or parties, but I've been out to enough of them, like to see like toxic people there in social gatherings as well. Yeah, very relatable stuff for someone like me who's just like, shut up, we don't care. You know, that's very much the attitude that Thomas has towards people who act like arseholes. Like, we don't care, stop being an arsehole. Which is actually the name of one of the songs on the album, Stop Being an Arsehole. Yeah, B+. Fucking love this, absolutely love this. I thought it was really entertaining. And I think pretty solid way to round off this month, this Music of the Month review. This month of music, shall we say. So all in all, May, despite having some really promising stuff pushed back, it did have some really good stuff. I'd highly recommend Ailstorm, Boston Manor, Dogleg, End of Days, Havoc, Higher Power, and just for the shits and giggles of it, Thomas Benjamin Wild Esquire. Those are the ones I'd recommend the most. And yeah, so the next thing I'll see you for will probably be tomorrow night. Will hopefully be the next PBW stream. And then some point after that, maybe backtracking, maybe another Fight of the Night review. It depends on what happens first. I can't really say for sure. All I can say is this. Thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.